Welcome to your Daily 5 for Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. I'm sure many of you listening have seen numerous different articles, heard podcast opinions, seen news broadcasts probably about the incorrect and historically inaccurate results that Google's Gemini large language model returned when prompted for things like Vikings or Nazis or historical religious figures. And this has caused, interestingly, people on both sides of the American political spectrum to lose their minds. On the right, of course, this is being lambasted as, oh, diversity gone too far. They're overcorrecting for trying to have diversity. And on the other side, when Google polled, well, I guess they blocked certain results. I'm not sure exactly what they did, but people are now criticizing Google for going too far and trying to remove these results. So basically, nobody's happy. And Google, of course, has, the CEO has apologized and said that they've got to fix this and blah, 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 and all the standard marketing nonsense you're going to hear. And look, I mean, these results were, of course, inaccurate, and it, I'm sure, is coming from a place where the system was told, we'll make sure that there is a representation of people when there are prompts that are put in. So, yeah, it's something that was obviously incorrectly set. Now, whether you want to ascribe a political agenda to that or not, well, you can or you can't. But I think that the actual really valuable lesson from this is, I think, demonstrating very clearly what a lot of people seem to keep forgetting about not only LLMs and this particular technology, but technology in general, which is these things are representative of the people who construct them. And so whatever biases and whatever predeterminations those people have are going to be factored into these technologies. We've seen it again and again and again. And just like many times before, it seemed like these LLMs were somehow escaping this reality for a lot of people who thought, oh, these are going to be different. They're going to be transformative. They're going to make everything better, because somehow there was this idea that they don't come from the same flawed source that almost everything technological does, which is human beings. And, as is normally the case, a subset of human beings who tend to think in a similar way. And so when these people try to build something or correct something, I'm not even ascribing malice to it. I've used ascribe now 3 times in this thing, so I'm sorry. I'm not saying that there is a malicious intent. I'm not saying that there's anything that's evil about this, as some people want to jump to. But it is a byproduct that we all have blind spots within our life experience, and whether it's intentionally or not, those often get built into things that we create for creative individuals. This happens all the time, and LLMs are no different. So I think, while all this, the yelling back and forth, yeah, of course, it always devolves into that. That's the state of discourse, at least in this country, and it seems like many other places, but certainly in the United States. But the valuable lesson here is, yes, these things are skewed and they are flawed. So don't act, there has been, I think, very wisely, a larger effort to de-anthropomorphize, wow, I pronounced that correctly, to de-anthropomorphize these LLMs, because there were people who were starting to cross the line a little bit and treating these things like they were alive. And fortunately, I'm seeing some retreat from that, which is really good I'm glad to see that, because there were people who were really just jumping, there still are, but people jumping in all the way to this thing as if these things were alive. They are not. They are not sentient beings. They don't have their own thoughts. They are not able to be intuitive, magical creatures of technological innovation. They are systems that are programmed by people. And once you understand that, and when you accept the fact that most people have fundamental flaws and biases, again, I'm not assigning any moral judgment to that. That's just a reality that people are like that. All of us, myself included, this is how we are. We're human beings. And once you go back and realize that at the root of all this stuff, all these innovations, all these magical things that do amazing stuff, don't get me wrong. Some of what these models can do, what they can generate, is astonishing. It really is. But you have to recede back a bit and remember that this all came from people who programmed these things. And in their programming, not even necessarily consciously, so I want to be very clear about that, but there are going to be these underlying currents that reflect their perceptions, their personalities, their life experience. So they are not things that exist independently. They are tied to the people who made them. So even though this is resulting in just a lot of yelling, I think the underlying lesson people are learning from it is very important. Later.